What if artificial intelligence completely replaced human work? Imagine a morning in 2036. People wake up in a world where work is no longer required at all. Artificial intelligence handles everything, from baking bread to performing complex surgeries. It sounds like utopia, doesn't it? But what really happens to humanity when the one thing that defined our existence for a millennia, work, disappears? The first days of a new world. It started gradually. Automation first touched manufacturing. General Motors factories already use robots for about 80% of assembly operations. Amazon replaced warehouse staff with machines that process 750 million packages a year. But no one expected AI to master creative tasks so quickly. By 2030, GPT-7 was writing screenplays for Hollywood films. A meta-algorithm was producing hit songs that went viral within hours. A Chinese AI called Dragon diagnosed cancer more accurately than top oncologists, 99.7% versus 87%. Their turning point came in 2034 when Tesla released Humanoid 3.0, a robot capable of performing almost any human physical task. At the same time, OpenAI introduced Genius AI, a system able to solve research problems and run companies. Gradually, over 2 years, about 4.5 billion people around the world lost their jobs, nearly the entire working-age population of the planet. Economic collapse and the birth of a new system. The first months after the mass job losses were chaotic. Stock markets fell by 60%. Unemployment in developed countries hit 85%. Governments rushed to employ moratoriums on large-scale AI deployment. But it was too late. The economy could no longer function the old way. Denmark was first to launch Universal Basic Income 2.0. Every citizen received 3,000 euros a month with no conditions attached. The funding came from taxes on AI companies, now the most profitable in history. Alphabet, Google's parent company, earned $2 trillion in a single year using AI alone. A psychological crisis in a workless generation. An unexpected problem emerged. People didn't know what to do with limitless free time. Stanford psychologists reported that adult depression rose by 340% in the first year. Work had provided more than money. It gave meaning, self-respect, and social ties. Suddenly, millions lost their sense of usefulness. Middle-aged adults suffered the most. Engineers who had worked for decades described losing their bearings.
For years, I woke up at 6 a.m., solved problems. I felt needed. Now I wake up and wonder why. AI does in seconds what took me weeks.
Younger people adapted faster. Teenagers raised on smartphones accepted a world where AI was a partner, not a rival. A revolution in education. Education changed radically. Universities closed traditional programs in engineering, law, and medicine. AI simply did those jobs better. In their place arose new fields: psychology of adaptation to a new world, the search for human purpose, the arts, and creative self-realization. Instead of narrow job marketing, schools and universities focused on critical thinking, philosophy, the scientific method, AI ethics, ecological literacy, and civic participation. Students built individualized learning paths around real projects, measuring air quality in their cities, restoring rivers, assisting museums, or designing new community spaces. AI assistants stayed close, but as mentors. They didn't dictate answers, they pointed the way, emphasizing independent reasoning and the skill of asking better questions. A new society of creators. 2 years after the Great Replacement, society began to transform. Freed from the need to earn a living, people uncovered hidden talents. The number of artists, writers, and musicians grew by orders of magnitude. Creator cities appeared, special communities devoted entirely to art. Aarhus became a world capital of contemporary painting. Lyon turned into a hub of experimental music. New forms of work emerged as well. AI trainers taught machines to recognize and respond to human emotions. Digital archaeologists restored lost databases, obsolete document formats, and archival photos and videos, no longer readable by current systems. Others focused on the ethics of living with AI, shaping rules for the society ahead. Technological marvels. Without human labor as a bottleneck, technological progress accelerated dramatically. An AI system named Archimedes delivered workable fusion power within a year, providing the planet with virtually free energy. A biomedical AI, Asclepius, found treatments for cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes. Food insecurity vanished. AI-run farms produced harvests 100 times larger than conventional agriculture. The dark side of utopia. It wasn't all rosy. A new inequality arose between those who controlled AI and everyone else. 10 corporations own 90% of the world's AI resources. A handful of tech leaders who became de facto rulers. Some nations tried to outlaw the AI revolution. North Korea, Iran, and several African states declared AI-free zones. Their economies quickly declined. How do you compete with machines that work around the clock and never draw a salary? Society splintered into new groups. Some people rejected modern technology entirely, forming communities that live simply, like the 19th century, growing their own food, sewing their own clothes, and building their own homes. It was a way to keep a bond with nature and feel needed. At the same time, cyborg communities emerged. People who integrated AI as deeply as possible, using neural implants to communicate directly with machines. Family life shifted too. With time for relationships and childcare, marriage rates rose and birth rates in Europe increased for the first time in 50 years. A new form of democracy. Politics changed attitude. Traditional parties lost their purpose. Why promise jobs when there are none? AI-guided governance took shape. Systems analyzed citizens' needs and implemented optimal decisions automatically. If a neighborhood needed a park, the system allocated funds and coordinated construction. If residents complained about noise, it deployed targeted fixes immediately. Leading countries adopted algorithmic democracy. AI systems analyzed public sentiment through social media and polling, then proposed policies that satisfied the greatest number of people. Corruption faded. Machines can't be bribed. The problem of meaning. The deepest challenge was meaning. For millennia, people defined themselves by their work. I'm a doctor, I'm a teacher, I'm an engineer. Those phrases lost their weight. Who are you when work isn't required? Many immersed themselves in virtual worlds that simulated usefulness. Game studios built special realities where jobs still existed. People went to virtual work, earned digital money, built homes, and felt needed. Millions spent 10 to 12 hours a day inside, finding the purpose they couldn't locate outside. Others sought meaning in spiritual practice. Monasteries and meditation centers multiplied fivefold. Searching for a new purpose. 5 years into the AI revolution, people began to rediscover fulfillment. Activities that required genuine human warmth grew in value. Caring for the elderly, raising children, creating art, cultivating richer communication, and supporting those who struggled to adapt. Workshops of handcrafts spread. People made unique things with their own hands. Each piece was precious precisely because a human made it. Bakers revived old recipes. Painters returned to canvas. Blacksmiths and potters became symbols of a truth rediscovered. Human craft has a value no machine can replicate. A new understanding of humanity. Paradoxically, a world without work helped people understand what it means to be human. AI could paint pictures, but it couldn't feel awe at a sunset. Robots could diagnose disease, but they couldn't comfort a patient with a warm touch. People realized their uniqueness wasn't in calculation or analysis. It's in the capacity to love, to emphasize, to dream. The data economy. A fundamentally new economy emerged. People began selling their emotions, memories, and lived experiences to train AI systems. Algorithms needed authentic human data to better understand human nature. The most valued contributors were those who could offer rich and varied feelings. Artists, writers, actors, and musicians shared emotion through their craft. Travelers and explorers brought back one-of-a-kind impressions from new places. People with deep life experience contributed memories no machine could invent. In this new economy, true wealth wasn't money or raw materials. It was the ability to feel and to convey those feelings. Those who lived full, varied lives became the new elite. The future of humanity. A decade after the Great Replacement, humanity had adapted. People no longer worked in the traditional sense, but they found new forms of self-realization. They became wiser, kinder, more creative. AI freed them from drudgery and let them focus on what truly makes us human. Perhaps that was the real purpose of technology, not to replace us, but to help us become better versions of ourselves. In a world without work, people finally found time to look at the stars and wonder about the meaning of being. History showed that when machines took over every task, we discovered the most important task of all, to learn how to truly live life.